Hello and welcome. This is Pepin from Pepin Reacts, and here today on this episode we have another reaction to a favorite show of ours called Breaking Bad. I am joined with my best friend Meader. Meader, how you doing?
I'm not too bad. I'm here too.
Ooh, he is here too. And last time we had a lot that happened. We did a little previous recap prediction sort of video, so if you want to know what we thought about that, if you're just catching up now, watch that video. It's like 2 hours or an hour. I don't even know. But it'll be amazing. But hey, we're going to get into this episode here. I think a lot could happen. But I think my main question is, are we going to see the recurring character that we want to see the most? Are they going to show up? And could that make the season if it does happen? I mean, Whitey's Tidies. Why is it White's? Walt's Whitey Tidies.
I mean, his last name is White. Whoa.
Oh.
Walter Whitey Tidy?
Whitey's Tidies.
Hey, what about the toilet?
Okay, listen. If I get the Whitey Tidies, that's amazing. If I get the toilet, like, I don't know. You get both in the same episode, best episode of the show. I mean, full stop.
So this is season 3, episode 1, No Mas?
No Mas, which is Spanish for no more. So, doesn't sound like it'll be a good episode for anybody. I think one prediction I had, just real quick, is that I think this season we're going to either see Walt break, or we're going to see him, or we're going to see him break, that's for sure. But how he breaks, I think, will be the most interesting, because we see Jessie and how he dealt with that stress, and he just kind of like implodes. I feel like Walt might act out, and we saw like the death of Heisenberg kind of towards the end of season 2. I think we might see the rebirth here in a lot of ways, because now Heisenberg might have a reason to exist, whereas before, the baby, not there. But I wish I said that last when we did the little like predictions thing, because I thought of that the other day. But anyway, we're gonna get into this right now. Not sure if this is gonna be a timer-based reaction or a reaction-based reaction. Hopefully, it's a timer-based reaction, because I don't even know. But ready, we're gonna get this in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That noose is ominous. Yeah. Okay. So this looks like we're probably in Mexico, which would lend to my cartel idea. Big question is, who is this guy? And why does no one give a fuck about him? Okay, now this seems more like the sleep. Okay, they're sneaking in. Not so much that they are, or did all their legs get broken? Okay. Either they're sneaking in, but that wouldn't make any sense because all the people are watching. Unless there's watchers somewhere else. Or they broke all their legs, which could be a thing. Okay, here comes a car. No one thinks this is weird. Okay, she's a little stressed. And they're just driving around. Where's that car from? That's a big plot detail. Ooh, that's tacky. Death Skull. Alright. Got twins here? You know, that's something I'd never expect in Breaking Bad. Twins. Okay, now they're crawling. This is kind of like night crawlers. Right? This is something you do. I mean, you see there's obstacles to some degree, but this seems it's like a tradition, maybe? Wow, they're great at crawling, it seems. Even in their suits, and they're going to this temple shrine. Oh, it's got Nacho Libre in it. Got money there, and the candle's going to burn out, and okay, they're praying to death. This must be some weird tradition I don't know of. It probably makes complete sense somewhere else. He seems a little more concerned, but they're worshiping some death god or something that you have to crawl to. And that looks like Heisenberg. So they're assassins. So they're praying to the death god that Heisenberg gets eliminated. And then maybe they're gonna be contracted by Gus
But callers describe witnessing an explosion overhead.
The one thing that we do know is it dropped a teddy bear from the sky.
Investigators with the Donald Margolis. He's Donald Margolis, a 19-year
poor
veteran
Don.
of the FAA's Air Route Traffic Control
Oh, they didn't
Center.
even get a good headshot of him.
Margolis recently returned to work.
They just grabbed like an awful headshot.
Yeah.
Due to, quote, a personal loss.
They could have done him more justice.
They say 167 deaths.
So, who would that be on? Oh, they can't be bringing that up. What does that have to do with anything? Okay, I see, but... So, okay, I'm not wrong about this, because I had the suspicion that that teddy bear had been there for a while, but it seems like it's actually been in there for a bit. Burning matches. Oh, we got some Better Call Saul matches. Dude, they should totally sell those. I'd buy some.
I mean, they probably do, let's be real.
Is this where he kept the money? Oh, it's where he's is he burning money? Okay, this ties in with the beginning of the show. But, oh, because the money doesn't mean anything anymore. And then his connection to Saul, I guess? Is he gonna do it, though? Damn. Walt's getting edgy. And metaphorical. Oh, now he's like, fuck. Oh, not... Yes, okay, there we go. Yeah, that was kind of dumb to do. Okay, a little bit of a rebirth metaphor. He's reborn with money.
You can't claim everything as a rebirth metaphor, Nathan.
Listen, he dived into water. That
Every episode, you're like, oh, there's a rebirth metaphor right there. The way he's drinking that Slurpee.
So sorry you're here.
Listen, whenever they go into water, it's either rebirth or they're getting wet. Like, you know, like down there.
As quick as
There's no in betweens.
this can be.
Has he moved out?
We're in the process of moving him out. Yeah, today hopefully. And in the meantime, my son and my daughter and I are staying tonight.
Whose house is it?
So
You can't just
you
decide that.
Yes, just temporarily, only so he could get his things. And
To that end, I say, let's leave no stone unturned.
Okay, divorce counselor, it sounds like, which would make sense.
Amazed what I've seen partners hide from one another.
Yeah. Okay, so divorce, not a divorce counselor, but a divorce lawyer.
That's
trying
what
to
it
get
seems like.
her assets. Wait, which I kind of figured, but she seemed like way too disinterested in everything. Up until like the questions about money. Oh, we got Hank with his
Thank
glasses.
goodness. He's back.
Did you just make a pun right there?
Huh?
Hank Goodness.
No?
Is that oh, you should have just took the credit for that, because that's what I heard. So, Hank's... I think Hank's checking up on him. I don't think he's going to try to catch him out.
Hey, Walt?
Lost an eyeball. Losing sight.
Buddy, there you are. It's tough.
Oh. Okay, he's not even checking up. He's evicting. So
The shittiest week since 9/11, okay? Bar none.
that changes
This is it. Hands
my
down, we're living it.
prediction.
I mean, I speak with so much of my...
He's nervous.
I know. Look.
Yeah, he's
But this
nervous.
situation between you and, you know, I don't know. By the way, okay? It's none of my business, all right? I do
No,
not
just
want to get in the middle
disappointing.
of it, too. I'm just saying, listen, okay? You beat a little tactical retreat, yeah?
Yeah.
Regroup, and then, well, you know, absence makes the... I'm pulling for you, man. I'm pulling for you.
He probably relates to Walt a little bit. At least as far as, like...
Whoa, no heavy lifting. I got it. No, it's okay. I got it. Jesus. What do you got in there? Cinder blocks?
$500,000 in cash.
That's the spirit.
That's probably the best bluff you could have. Now, with that said, cash, like a bag full of cash, wouldn't weigh that much. I only know this because I have held, not $500,000 cash, but quite a lot. Just because of being in banking.
Who's here for self-improvement?
I mean, it would depend on what bills are involved, but
Come on, give me a show of hands.
I think it's mostly hundreds.
Who among you is here hoping they can actively improve who they are?
Wouldn't be White, just... Okay, so this is where Jesse's money's going to.
All right.
Some of
So
it.
that's your
I mean, he's got a
mistake.
$500,000.
Oh, man. He looks so clean-shaven. It's so weird to see.
Hey, honey, you want
Makes him look much younger.
I still got the iron.
Is that a hotel?
Not as high end as the Oakwood, but you know.
Oh, he's got money.
Oh, hey, would you please just...
Hey, Dad, it's me.
Hmm.
No, I'm not okay. I don't know what the hell's going on. Nobody's telling me jack shit around
Hey,
here.
Flynn.
Whatever.
Oh, she's Flynn there
I don't even
purposely.
care anymore. Can you just give me a ride to school?
It's interesting that there's the sense of individuality in the name Flynn, and she's trying to constrain him with that away from Walt, which it was already a separating mechanism, and she's trying to reinforce it, but it's kind of divorcing that sense of individuality. I mean, understand him. He wants to know what's going on. White bread? Whitey tidies?
So close.
Ah, man.
When was the last time we saw him make a sandwich?
Season 2, episode 6? Maybe episode 7? I think he made it for Walt Jr. Pollos. Yeah, that's not good. Does he want to do it? That's the question.
In college, they have this thing where if your roommate kills himself, like if you come home and find him hanging in the closet or whatever, it's basically an automatic A for you.
Where's this person going?
And I just think that kind of compassion is something to...
Who wants to go next?
Okay. Was that?
No
Oh, Carmen.
judgments, guys.
Was that
Just feelings.
opportunistic? I think it was.
You can say anything and everything that's on your mind. Anyone?
Nope. You know what to say. Chaos is a ladder.
There you go, honey. Honey, could you please stand up? Thank you.
I just keep asking myself, why did this happen? I mean, if there's a God and all, why does he allow all those innocent people to die for no reason?
Okay, can we just keep it secular, honey?
Anyhow, haven't really been sleeping much.
Yeah, so this is really hanging over Walt. I guess that was the whole need for it to go public like that. Because you have to have something that traces back to Walt, at least in his head. If I would have just let her survive, this could have been avoided.
There was still a pair of legs buckled into them. Human legs.
Wow.
Jesus H. Christ.
Okay, this giant group
Mr. White,
therapy
would you like to say something?
thing is a terrible idea.
And by the way, welcome back.
Oh.
Well, he gets a round of applause at the funeral.
Good to have you.
He's wearing black here, too. Everyone else is contrasted to him. Doesn't want to do it. Okay, this is the issue with the group therapy to begin with. He doesn't want to give the fucking speech. Read the fucking room, Carmen.
I guess.
He's gonna say here, though.
I mean, an incident like this over a populated urban center.
Oh, he's defending
That
himself.
right there, that's just gotta be some minor miracle. What you're left with, casualty-wise, is just the 50th worst air disaster. Actually, tied for 50th. There are, in truth, 53 crashes throughout history. At all? Any of you? I doubt it.
Carmen, you
know
cut
why?
off the student who was making some good points.
Move.
And then, okay, talking about God too much.
And
This
we will
is just
move on,
fine.
And we will get past this.
Right there, I would die of embarrassment. In that moment, I would fall over and you would have to add me to the fucking tally.
You know, there actually was a someone who died of this plane crash on the ground, and it was me after the speech.
Days later. But good news, it's still only the 49th worst plane crash.
All right, so what does their license plate say?
I thought it said Michigan the first time I saw it, but that wouldn't make sense, right? I guess unless it was like a rental. Then the license plate's kind of irrelevant.
It is Michigan, okay.
I mean, rentals, you know. That's the whole point of them, is you drive them wherever you go and then you leave them there.
Is that right?
That would be my assumption. Either that or we're in Michigan right now.
That's possible. Looks about right.
Yeah.
And so that's the family?
The
And
classic rolling deserts of Michigan.
got a gun there. So either they're just taking clothes from these people, or they know each other.
Got underwear, Nate.
Well,
And they were white.
I'd have to get a better look at it to really judge.
They were like boxer briefs.
Okay, doesn't count.
They're the whitey. They're just not the tighty.
See, what I'm looking for is that tight fit, but slightly loosened behind. Goat? Yeah, she looks a lot like the mother. They're giving the key? Oh, don't tell me they're gonna like crawl all the way to Mexico or wherever Walt is. They're walking, okay. So I guess that is evidence. And they're covering their tracks. I gotta say, during that speech, Walt kind of looked like, he kind of looked like Steve Jobs. A little bit. Deal for your Walt Jr. You got another, oh, Marie? We have another whole little metaphor with the car windshield, impairing vision, eyeball being taken out.
Why you gotta treat him like this? Why you gotta be like this? Why can't you just talk even?
She's trying. So what's Skyler thing? She's trying to like protect him. Doesn't want to like give too much info.
Lots of babes, huh?
I mean, to be fair, she doesn't really know much.
That's true.
So, like, what do you tell him?
You know, I mean,
Oh.
natural for him to
Mary wants to know.
wonder. I mean, he's probably. I can't help you get through this, Skyler. If you won't tell me what it is that we
I want gossip.
I don't remember asking you. All right. So if you want to be supportive,
I mean, we kind of did, though.
that would be really.
Pry. Okay. Well, prying's a strong word.
This is some Lewis tier stuff right now.
Oh, her face right there, so good. Oh, jeez. This is why I can't become an addict. I don't want to go here.
Jessie.
Does Jessie have an internal voice?
What's going on? You can tell me I'm full of shit. It's okay. I don't mind.
I don't know. I think
Just
Jesse's led by this
come on.
circumstance a little too much.
Let us in on it.
No, he's got a bit of an internal voice. It's just not super loud.
So, like, what makes you the experts?
I don't think I ever said I was that.
Have you ever really hurt anybody?
Oh, yeah, he thinks he's killed Jane.
Mother or whatever, but did you ever really hurt someone?
Getting into territory for other people you don't know of. Yeah, there we go.
I was high on cocaine and I was drunk. Cocaine wasn't an issue because I had bought myself 2 grams the night before as a birthday present. I had plenty left.
This is like shit.
But I was out of vodka. Self-hatred, guilt, it accomplishes nothing. It just stands in the way.
That's true.
Stands in the way of what?
True change.
Yeah, that's kind of the issue with Jesse last season, is he just kept on going further and further down. He wasn't changing, he was just doing more of the same, or getting sunk into where he already was. This eyeball. Why is he hanging on to the eyeball? What does it mean to him? It's just the divorce news?
Why are you doing this? Why are you even thinking this way? We are happily married. I am happily married. I am happy.
Oof.
We're just...
He's gone back to the baby fiction.
And you haven't heard my side yet. You haven't heard any of it at all.
You're a drug dealer.
How does she know? How did she figure that out? So she did know. And now she knows that she knows.
Yeah.
And that's his nose.
How else could you possibly make that kind of money?
She thinks he sold marijuana. Okay. Well,
Hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of weed.
Cocaine?
is he gonna...
Methamphetamine.
He told the truth. Holy shit.
I'm a manufacturer. I'm not a dealer.
Holy shit. I'm so surprised.
It doesn't mean... No. Skyler. Listen to me, Skyler. Listen.
No.
Okay.
There are a lot of angles to this, okay? It's
can't
complicated.
block the door.
All right? So please, listen.
Yeah, so... I think Skyler's dead, and I think Walt Jr.'s dead now.
Oh.
For certain.
For certain?
Yeah. We had the Poyos text earlier. Walt ignored that. I think that was the chance that he was going... We have the plot line kind of progressing here. We have these guys going there. They had a picture of Walt. They don't know Walt's gone there.
Your windshield's broken.
He was trying to get Walt to come to Poyos for some reason, to capture him. So I think we just have all the pieces here. They're there at the place. We know the two bodies are going to be there. I've been playing poker a lot lately, so I'm just trying to play big right now.
Listen, money.
Money.
Saul has got it for you. And so as soon as you're feeling better...
I'm better.
Just so quick. Seems more traumatized. I still actually used to be traumatized after rehab.
In spite of how bad things got, it really could be looked at like a wake-up call for both of us. I mean...
He's selling fiction so much here.
Our lives back together again. And there are...
The blinds are on his head. He's blinded. We're going with the science here.
You can look that up. And the whole system is run on 1960s technology.
That's true.
Not really. I blame the government.
It's the government.
You either run from things, or you face them, Mr. White.
Mr. White.
What exactly does that mean?
I learned it in rehab. It's all about accepting who you really are. I accept who I am. I'm the bad guy.
So here he's showing up. And I don't know if this is... We got the blinds here again. These blinds are a prominent feature of this episode. Blinds, eye, vision.
Myth.
Is there a third person in on this? That seat?
I have an offer that I think will be of interest to you.
I actually am not here to...
Just to eat? He's trying to fix his mistake?
I'm not a criminal.
Oh, jeez.
No offense to any people who are.
Just so dead-faced.
This is not me.
Okay, this is not going to be a good offer.
I'm sorry.
$3 million for 3 months of your time.
It's recruiting. Get enough product to make it worth his while. Yeah, that's a good opportunity to kidnap him.
Went Dutch angles.
I have money. I have more money than I know how to spend. What I don't have is my family.
Oh, that's a double entendre and a half. So is this where they're sneaking in? They are not impressed. They're doing a lot to get in here. So they're the third player then. I don't think they're part of Gus here. We still haven't heard these people speak. Did they get shot? Yeah, I got shot. That was a nice, like, reverberation right there. Honestly, if you get shot at like that, it's probably better just to faint that you got shot and died than, like, you know, make it clear you're living. I'll have to ram at that just in case. Those sound like accurate gun sounds, too.
It was also cool that the shot was really far away.
Mm-hmm.
And they did the action and then the sound came, like it took time to travel. And it was very quick, but it was just boom boom instead of at the same time. Or a lot of times people will do sound first.
So they're mad because their cover got blown. But then why would you wear cartel symbols on your boots?
Are they mad?
No, they're not mad. I don't know what these... Like, I'm trying to figure out the game they're playing besides... Okay.
Nate didn't like that. It was a cool shot.
It's good. Why though?
No. Hey. No moss.
These people just like want to, like, I don't know. These are the most rule of cool characters we've seen.
They gave a go to car and then blew up a hay.
I mean, that's pretty much what happened. Well, that was Season 1, Episode 6 of Breaking Bad. This episode, very interesting. I think it's a good payoff and setup episode. It kind of does a little bit of both there, right? Because I guess what it does is it pays off the season finale of last season. And kind of like gives you some of the effects of it. So, we see what happens with the plane crash. We see what happens with the plane crash of Walt's relationship with Skyler. And then we see some of the effects happening with Walt and Gus. And then this new character, twins, we got here. So we kind of have like these different little plot details there. And I guess we have the side details of like Walt Jr. and Marie, I guess, a tiny bit, and Hank a tiny bit. But it's mostly Walt. Oh yeah, I forgot about Jessie. There's a whole Jessie rehab sort of thing. And they're saying he's been there for a week or something. Maybe it's been longer. It's sort of unclear to me right now.
It's been longer.
Yeah.
He drops him off before the plane crash, and it's been weeks since the plane crash.
Yeah.
Or a week at least.
It was a week at the school event, I believe. And then after that, maybe we can assume that more time had happened after that. And that's when Skyler kind of delivered the divorce papers.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. We didn't actually see the papers there, which kind of ties in with the theme of this episode, which I think is vision. That's kind of my claim there, is the episode is just totally to do with vision. But Meader, just give me your general thoughts on the episode.
Yeah, I think it's a good setup to bring what needs to be brought from the previous seasons into this season. And I think there were several callbacks. And I think a lot of this episode was done in subtlety, in facial expressions, in implication versus outright telling. I think this was a good episode for all of those things.
So I think let's start. Also, I agree with you. I think there's a lot of subtlety to this one, and a lot of framing of certain shots, and a lot of like I think symbolism. Now, of course, you know, during this whole reaction, I was going crazy with every like little thing, probably too much. That's kind of the fun. Like I throw things at the wall, and eventually one of them sticks. But I think some of the stuff I was saying was also spot on, because I think they're very, I don't know, very conscious of what they're doing with a lot of these shots. And the first thing I'll bring up here is we have these two twins, and there's this first whole section of the show where we have these people crawling to this shrine, and then we have these twins that arrive. They kind of go around these people, and then eventually they pull over, and then they start crawling towards the shrine in like fancy suits, which that's kind of strange. Like, why is the big question. And then there's this picture of Heisenberg in there. And then there's this whole death analogy there, like, you know, the symbol of death, and also saw the symbol of death on these people's shoes. And I don't know, we wouldn't assume that these other people that are crawling were disabled, because they're all crawling to the same thing, and these other people started crawling. So is this some sort of like weird ritual where they put a contract out for the death, like a death contract out, essentially, and then whoever crawls there and gets to it is the first that gets it, I guess, that they get the contract?
They brought the paper.
They brought the paper?
They brought the paper, and he took it out of his pocket and hung it up.
Okay, I thought they brought I thought they brought the money there, but
they brought both.
They brought both.
Yeah, because he put the candle back down on top of the money, and then reached into his pocket and pulled out the paper, and then put the paper up, and it had the sketch of Heisenberg.
Okay, so they put the paper up there, so I guess they're paying tribute for this death here. I assume they're hired by the cartels, or a cartel, or whatever. But it's really nondescript here. We can get the impression they're probably hired by the cartels or some group, but it's not known. But I think it's heavily implied. They never speak.
I think all of the assumptions you make are fair assumptions.
Yeah. So I don't know what this whole crawling thing is about. Maybe this is something that'll get explained, but maybe it's just something that's a tradition that we don't know about. Like, it could be something weird in Mexico, or something that a cartel did, or who knows what, but there's people just watching this happen, and they're kind of just, like, half of them don't care about it, and half of them are a little bit nervous. And it's weird, there's this death cult, and they pay tribute to it. Like, that's all I gotta assume, it's like some sort of weird death cult. Or, I don't even know. But grasping at straws, but let's say they're part of the cartel, and they have a hit out for Heisenberg, and they're trying to get good luck on that. And
okay.
So,
Okay. And then what? Then what do they do? Then they give a go to car.
Yeah, which their car's from Michigan, so they've been to the States before. Probably a rental, kind of like you're insinuating. And they give the goat the car. There's the girl there. I don't think that was anybody's family. Or I don't think that was their family. It could have been. It seemed more like they're just taking clothes for some reason. They wanted more normal attire because they're trying to sneak in with these other people. And then they get in some sort of hayride with these other people. And it looks like the guy that was riding them was American, from what I could tell. And then the other people were Mexican. And they get caught out by this guy just couldn't stop talking, and then they kill everybody. It's pretty good synopsis. These guys haven't talked. I don't know if they will talk. It'd be kind of funny if they didn't. Like, that'd give them an extra edge. We did see a whitey, but not a tighty, so that's a little disappointing. But initially I thought these people were hired by Gus. And there's still a possibility there that they are, but that's unlikely for two reasons, I think. And these are very, very surreptitious reasons, I'm going to admit that. So the first reason is Gus tried to give Walt the job. He gave an opportunity there. And I think Walt outed himself a little bit, which we'll get to here, by saying something about his family. But I think the second thing is there's a very deliberate shot of, we see Walt at the table, we see Gus at the table, and then we see this other chair there, as if there's another entity in the mix that we haven't seen. It's the unseen entity. And I think the unseen entity right now is, we can call it the cartel, which I thought Gus is part of the cartel, maybe is another factor. And I kind of hypothesized about this, a previous episode we did. But I think there's another actor here, and I think they're in at the table, but they don't know yet. and that's going to be these twins. They're kind of the avatar for this other actor. I assume they're henchmen. I don't assume they're people. Otherwise, their business is not very well operated. Because how are they making profit when they're just trekking across these deserts by foot? Like, I don't get that. I don't understand them quite yet. But that's my hypothesis there. You have anything to say to that very long ramble?
Nothing I can really say.
Okay.
I mean, like, what no.
Do you think they're badass?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I think that they were shot to be that way specifically.
Yeah.
And, everything they did, the explosion and not looking at it in and of itself, like, it was 2 feet away from them and they just walked away from it.
It's a little bit cheesy in some ways, but you're kind of okay with it because it is kind of like, oh, what are these people doing? Like, definitely not quite realistic, but I think it kind of goes in the same line of like Walt taking that crystal powder or whatever and kind of like exploding the building. It kind of goes in along the same rule of cool with that. So, it's okay. It's already been a precedence. So there's that storyline. We have another storyline with Jessie. Jessie goes to rehab. Jessie is kind of a bit, I don't know. It's like he's kind of throwing stuff out there. Like, no, you can't understand. I am like underwater. You guys are just like talking up this shit. Who are you to speak about this? And then Jessie kind of gets put in his place a little bit. And when I say put in his place, like there is a way where he's just kind of shot down. But he's also kind of, like, he gets in his perspective, like, it's not just me who's kind of dealing with shit. Other people are dealing with shit, I think I killed my girlfriend here by doing drugs. He ran over his daughter. He's probably worse off, and he has this positive outlook and is trying to move forward. So I think that kind of put Jessie in his place. And we kind of see him kind of stick to a little bit there, too. Whether it's going to last, though, probably not.
Is positive outlook his takeaway? I would challenge that.
Positive outlook was what the guy was trying to impose or kind of throw. Or maybe, not positive outlook. Acceptance would probably be the more wide thing. Because he said, I'm the bad guy. And in a way, in order to become the good guy, you have to realize you're the bad guy, because that's kind of like the hero's journey in a way, right? The hero's journey is that you realize you have the capacity for evil, and then you act against that, and then harness it for good. And I think there's a couple characters that could be the hero in this journey. Maybe there's no hero, but I think Jesse is potentially one of them. Like, I think he has the most potential to become like a hero in this. I think the other one is Hank. But I think that might be maybe the kindling that's going to get that fire going. But that's like wide speculation there. But I feel like Jesse's probably going to get caught up on this, because Jesse's the other factor with this whole Gus thing. But I think he's going to be reluctant, and maybe that's his impetus for escaping. So is there anything else you can think of with the Jesse storyline?
I mean, just the scene with him, and because I mean, there were only scenes of him not talking at the thing, at the rehab place, and then the scene with him and Walt. I guess he's staying with Walt now.
Is that right?
I mean, is that the implication there?
Maybe. The look he is moving in, he probably is.
I mean, at least for that day.
Mm-hmm.
Till he can find his own place. But I mean, all his money's with Saul, $250,000. So like,
yeah.
He can do whatever he wants, pretty much.
Walt probably wants some company, though. In a way, Jesse's like his family. Has been kind of analogized here.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna take 1 second and choose some gummies. blood sugar dropping. So Walt and Jessie are probably together here, and I think we're going to see some shit going down here pretty soon. We don't know how far away these twins actually are, but I think they're probably going to get there pretty quick. I mean, they're in Texas, we know that much. And where's Walt again? Is it New Mexico?
Yeah, they're in Albuquerque.
Okay, so we would assume they're relatively close together. So it probably won't be too long. And then we have Gus maybe trying to make his move.
I didn't understand.
We have Gus trying to make his move potentially here as well. So I don't want to get to Walt quite yet because I think there's still something there with Jessie, but he's kind of in the Jane effect right now, or not quite. So Jane wanted to get clean. Jessie wants to get clean, but he wants to get clean because he realizes he's bad. And this kind of goes back to some like metaphors previously about, you know, trying to get yourself clean, because there's been like a lot of cleaning type stuff going on in the last season. So I think this is Jessie's chance to get clean. Walt's trying to get clean too, trying to get out of this business. So there's this kind of drive that way, but something I think is going to pull him back in. I think Walt's going to get pulled heavier back in, though. I think Jessie's going to maybe stick it out. And because Jesse's accepted it, but Walt in that moment did not accept that statement. He rejected it.
Mm-hmm.
Jesse's like, I am the bad guy. Walt's like, hey, I got to get out of this because I'm not a criminal. And it's like, well, Walt, you are. And that's kind of what Walt's been doing this whole episode, is just kind of denying and making excuses.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's kind of what he's done for 2 seasons now. And lying.
Yeah.
And I mean, we saw him do most of that, but I mean, he was also didn't lie in a lot of situations. So really interesting. I think Walt's story has 3 parts. I think there's Walt and the planes. There's Walt and Skyler, and there's Walt and the drug business.
Mm-hmm.
That would be my argument for breaking down Walt's story this episode.
Okay. So let's start with Walt and the planes, because that's the most obvious. So Walt and the planes, Walt is definitely feeling guilty about what happened. He feels like he's responsible for Jane's death, number one, because that's a consequence of this whole thing with the plane crash. Writing wise, what they did is they used the news coverage of this to essentially lean it on Walt's consciousness, because Walt now knows that this plane crash was potentially his fault, or he had a hand in it at the very least. And it's kind of a little bit contentious, enough to kind of shake it off. Same with Jessie there. Jessie's feels some impact there, but Walt was projecting off of Jessie, to dissuade his own doubts about it. So that plane crash happened. We have the awkward speech at school. Also, Walt trying to burn the money there, which is kind of weird. What might you think of that?
I think it was an act of this is what got me into this situation, so if I get rid of it, maybe it'll get me out of the situation. It was like a plea to the heavens of, you see, I'm willing to sacrifice all of this to get my family back, type of thing.
Yeah.
Maybe not dissimilar to what we saw the crawling people do, in a way. But, he very quickly changed his mind.
And I guess there's that would tie in with the rebirth metaphor, because he's trying to get clean of the money. It's drug money. He's trying to burn it away. And then he eventually realizes, oh, this isn't good. Throws it in the pool, puts it out, right? But then he also kind of gets put in the pool there because he's on fire himself. And he's kind of reborn with the money, but, he doesn't have his family. It's an empty pool. So he's kind of stuck with it, I guess. And so they go to this, at the school, they're giving this is the weirdest fucking thing I've seen. Like a school-wide therapy session.
Pretty much.
I don't think that's a good idea. Like, I don't think it's a terrible idea to have that sort of talk, but I think you do it like classroom to classroom, not so much like a whole wide school. Because how you can control the people? How are you going to choose who talks?
Well, you don't.
Yeah.
I think the idea is to provide a platform for people to say what they are feeling and to show complete unity, and that you're not alone in a situation where a lot of people will feel very alone.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the idea. Execution, different fish, but
Yeah. Maybe my issue, because I don't have an issue with that, like on a classroom to classroom basis. It's like when 9/11 happened, for instance. Like, I think there was definitely a good opportunity to talk about that, like classroom to classroom and everything, and maybe have a little thing, like a school-wide thing. But I don't think it makes as much sense to talk about that, like, as a whole school, because, like, in one room, because I think the logistics of that are just, like, weird. Like, you can't really control anything. You don't know, like there's not, like, a general room tone. I don't know. I just think that was a bad move, but people make bad moves all the time.
yeah, I don't necessarily disagree. If Carmen was better about setting and keeping a tone and redirecting a tone when it got off, that would be one thing, to kind of something to keep it on the straight. But she didn't do that. She just kind of like let whatever happens happen, and then force people to talk who didn't want to talk.
Yeah. That's true. That's very. She really did that though. She did that with that girl who's like didn't want to stand up. It was like, no, you gotta stand. And then I think she brought up God, and she's like, no, you can't talk about God.
Yeah.
But while talking about the capacity size of a Boeing 537 or whatever, is just like, oh, this is good. Okay.
No, she looked very uncomfortable during everything that was said in the entire assembly.
Yeah. It's
I do got to say, though, they did a really good job of finding actual high school age people.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't a bunch of extras who were like college or older trying to pass as high school. Every kid there looked like a high schooler.
And I think I think this is a pretty good rendition of what actually happened. Maybe outside of the Walt speech. Walt was wearing black, and we know that Heisenberg tends to wear black, so I think that's a little bit of a call there. And also, he's kind of in mourning too, so that's another thing right there. But all we get from Walt is this crazy, like I don't think the speech was anything like that illuminating about Walt, besides that he's extremely defensive.
Yeah. Yep. There was a lot of rambling, and just kind of, there was a lot of rationalizing, and it seemed like he was trying to convince himself, not anybody else, of what he was saying.
Yep. He took kind of the teacher mindset, which kind of came a little bit later in when he was trying to convince Jessie of this kind of shit.
Yeah.
And Jessie even says like, well, Jessie kind of looked like a high school student in a lot of ways there. I think there's some thing going on there, but also Jessie's like, Mr. White, addressed him as a teacher. I think, which was more Freudian than it was sarcastic or sardonic.
I mean, he's always called him that.
Here, I think it was more like he was back in school, like seeing him as like an authority figure, like a teacher, and he went into teacher mode there too. But maybe I'm reading into that too much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think I called it a funeral during the episode, when they were all in the assembly. I was like, this is pretty much a funeral, where everyone's kind of there talking. Anyone have anything they want to say about the deceased?
Yeah.
Type of thing. And then Walt's in all black, and he's rambling nonsensically.
Yeah. It's kind of like a funeral for Walt in some ways. I mean, I'm sure that's how he looked at it. And Walt was just so pissed off with the whole thing, too. He's like, are you kidding me? Because
how about that eye?
The eye?
Yeah. How about that teddy bear eye?
So he's been holding on to that, which is kind of strange.
Mm-hmm.
It was picked up by the pool cleaning thing, which is something there. I think it's a loose connection, but I think it is saying something. You know, trying to get your vision clean, and then also his car. So there's been so many vision metaphors in this episode. It's like insane. And at a certain point, like, you know, at first I felt like a little bit like crazy kind of saying it, like, oh yeah, this is me just going crazy with metaphors. But it just kept on coming up over and over again. Like the eye, there is the use of the blinds constantly, like you know, projecting blinds onto people, how always having blinds behind people. Like these blinds weren't in any other shots before. Like it made them a big staple. There's the car windshield, which is cracked. And like a lot of this is just kind of saying that Walt doesn't have vision. He can't see what's going on. He's just kind of, you know, numb to it, which goes along with this whole idea that's being portrayed here, which is Walt is just blind to what's happening. Like he's living in a fantasy. He can't see what is really there. He's seeing this. He's looking at a wall essentially, and just kind of making up pictures.
I mean, he's actively choosing not to fix it. He has the means. He has the time. He could do it if he wants to. He's just choosing not to. He's choosing to look through this broken glass rather than fix it.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
The eye also is a piece of evidence, right? Because when the cops came and put everything in evidence bags after the crash, they missed this. It was picked up by this pool skimmer, and they never picked it up. But Walt, when he was making sure that he got all the money out of the pool, did check there, somewhere the cops didn't check, and found both money and the eye, which would both be, you know, evidence of Walt's activities in a way.
Okay.
I think there's something there.
I guess those two bodies they found may have been... Okay, this is where it's ambiguous now, because now you got me thinking. Because we saw a teddy bear fly from the sky.
Yeah.
So those two bodies could have been two bodies that fell from the sky too. That's a possibility. Did they say that?
Yeah, I mean that. Yeah, they said that. Skyler said it to the divorce lawyer. She said, you know, they found parts of bodies that had fallen into our yard.
Okay. All right.
Are you implying that that is a separate event from them skimming the pool for the thing?
Yeah.
Oh.
That's why I read it. Well, that's how I read it from last season. I didn't see it as two. Like I had my whole theory about something going down, Gus coming in there, killing everybody, and then just leaving those bodies, and you know, using that event as a cover.
Yeah.
Which there's still some potential there because we know the fires are still. No, it's probably been a month now, so that's not likely. I think it could still be writing wise like some weird foreshadowing technique there. Like it's like a bait, then you pull it out from under them. You know, if you're crazy like me and think this, and then you put it back there and you're like, oh, we didn't meant to do this all along, and we switched you.
The body bags and the teddy bear were definitely in the same instance. There's a shot where they carry the evidence, like a tote of evidence that has the bear in it, across the front yard, and in the background you can see the body bags. Those were all together canonically.
Yeah.
You know, whether there's a foreshadowing thing also there, that's not for me to say. I just wanted to.
Yeah. No, I gotcha. Yeah. So I think I misunderstood that aspect in some ways, or misread it because I assumed those were that's still something future based, but it seems like it's not. So potentially still. I thought the two bodies Skyler talked about were in Hank and Marie's yard. That's where I misunderstood that.
Oh no, that was all at their house.
Yeah,
at the White residence.
Yeah.
But then he gets the eye out of the pool, and as Hank's coming in, he like secretly puts it in his pocket. He like doesn't want Hank to know that he found this piece of evidence that should probably be turned over to the cops. Which is interesting. And then later he drops it under his bed. And just before he grabs it, there's a knock on his door, and Skyler is there. And so it's still, in theory, there.
So, essentially, we have this private eye that might be investigated by a private eye.
I don't understand. Are you saying somebody is going to hire a private investigator to find the eye of a teddy bear at Walt's apartment?
It was a joke, Meader. It was a joke.
Oh.
He has a private eye, like the eye is private, and then a private eye is going to, like, investigator's gonna find it.
Nope, still don't get it. We'll have to move on, though. We don't have time to explore that one.
Oh, jeez. Okay. So there's this whole vision metaphor all throughout. And again, even so much as far as displaying blinds on people to show, like, hey, you're blinded. I
read that differently.
Oh, how did you read it?
Bars like a criminal.
Oh, I think that's might be double then. Because there's blinds projected onto him, but also bars like a criminal. Okay.
I mean, we could both be right. We could neither be right. One of us could be right. It doesn't matter. It's all.
Well, I think we're both right on that one.
Yeah.
And I only think we're both right because yours makes perfect sense and mine makes perfect sense. Granted, there's so much fucking eye metaphors.
I mean, yours makes more sense, arguably.
And we'll start in the scene with Gus too, and you know, this made it a recurring theme. If you know, they're all down too, which is just.
We saw it in the scene with Gus specifically when Walt says, "I'm not a criminal."
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And he has this projection of, you know, bars on his face.
So cool. A lot of the cinematography in this episode was great. So, I think
Walt feels guilty about the crash.
Yeah.
Is your standpoint?
Yeah. He feels guilty and he's trying to get the guilt off of him. And he feels like a criminal, but he is just in complete denial of that. So Skyler is like, hey, divorce. And she seems like she's trying to be reasonable about it to some degree. She figured out that Walt is selling drugs or something. And she doesn't want him for all his money. She might know that he has extra money hanging around, but she just wants the house and kind of the kids and to be left alone, essentially. And she comes in, delivers the divorce settlement or divorce papers to him awkwardly. And then Walt's like, you have to hear my side, and have a little back and forth. And Skyler kind of starts playing her hand a bit. And then I think the most shocking thing, like, out of all these seasons, like every episode of Breaking Bad, is that Walt told the truth.
Mm-hmm.
He says, I'm selling methamphetamine.
Mm-hmm. Well,
like,
he says, I'm a manufacturer, I don't sell.
Okay,
but
true.
Yes, but yes.
Like, I don't know if that hit other people differently. It's like, oh, wow, he's finally coming out with it. But to me, this is like, I don't know. It kind of shocked me. I didn't expect it to happen.
Yeah, I mean, he's losing one of the only things that he cares about, and that's his family, that's his wife. Like, he is willing to give himself up completely, which, you know, maybe a little too late.
Yep. And here he was just, I mean, you go on to like holding on to fiction, and then there's like complete delusions here. He's like, we are happily married. Then he backed it off like, I am happily married. Mm-hmm. You know, because you know, he couldn't deny that completely, I guess.
Yeah.
And it's so intriguing that, again, going with the vision here, we didn't actually see the divorce paper. And also, we didn't hear divorce. It was implied, but it wasn't actually there. And I think that goes along with this whole theme in the episode. But, you know, she threw her hand down. Walt Jr. is still trying to, like, figure out what the fuck's going on. He's not certain. Marie wants to know what the fuck's going on, but for different reasons.
Mm-hmm.
She's so good. Oh, jeez. Just her face. And the way she's just playing it. That's the perfect way to play it. Like, oh, yeah, we just got to figure out... You know, he's just curious about what's going on. You know, I mean, what really is going on? I mean, that's a great question, right?
It'd be weird if someone just answered that question right now.
Okay, this is tenuous here, but I'm just gonna throw it out. There's been this whole secret about what's going on with Walt, and now Skyler has a secret about what's going on with Walt.
Yeah.
So, the secret just got passed on to the next person.
Well, I mean, Walt has to keep it too.
That's true.
So, if anything, it kind of reached its tendrils into another person.
Ooh,
it's spread.
You know, if a secret is held by everybody, it's no longer a secret.
The cancer's gone, but is it?
Okay, that's better than my line.
It takes the cancer in remission to have it actually start to spread.
Is that a thing?
No,
that's profound.
That's a thing for Walter.
Oh wow! The cancer goes into. I like what you said there though, because I don't know. Hold on.
Okay. Oh.
There. That was not sardonic. That was like I just can't do a real clap here because I picked the mic.
That's fair.
So I think that's about it for Skyler divorce settlement thing.
Yeah.
Granted, we just talked about how maybe I was incorrect about those body bags.
Mm-hmm.
It makes me less certain of my essential claim here, which is that Skyler and Walt Jr. are dead. I think the baby will live on, but I think those two are gonna die. But I'm less certain of that now because I thought the body bags were for Skyler and Walt Jr. And this whole episode was like, oh, they're at the house now. This is not good. No, this is definitely spelling a death flag for them. I think it still might be. Especially granted that whoever these people are coming after them, they probably know that Walt lives there, but they probably don't know about he's separated now.
Yeah.
So there's plenty of opportunity for confusion. So let's move on next to the drug part of the show. So let me try to remember what happened here. Walt.
I think it was just a text of Poyos, and then he had a meeting with Gus.
Yeah. Like I guess he's also dealing with the money, and the money was almost like a drug from beforehand, and now it's just kind of like why? Like he's got money, but doesn't know how to use it. And I kind of like the way they're playing that here in this episode, because a lot of times when that's kind of done in shows, it's kind of done like a little bit hammy. Here, it kind of makes sense. Like Walt's just kind of like, I lost everything. Why? Yeah. And it's kind of shows, again, with the lack of vision, like he could have predicted that, just thinking, going to math, ignoring Skyler, ignoring everybody. Like, I could have predicted that this would have happened, but he didn't. At the same time, he expected himself to die, though. So, there's that, too.
It's true.
But he gets the text from Los Poyos, and I thought this was going to be a kidnapping opportunity, and I still think it is. But I think he needs to get Walt out of there. And Walt said he's getting out. I mean, he's offered a very good opportunity, and I think that's just an opportunity to get him from there to somewhere else where he can be confined to not leave and also work for him. So I think that's Gus's most likely plan with this. And I also think that this would be an opportunity to, again, granted I'm right with this whole like third player sort of thing. There's 3 entities involved in this. I think writing wise, this would be a smart way to get Walt out of the picture from these murderous twins. And also have resulting death for Skyler and Walt Jr. This is where I'm drawing the storyline here. I'm creating my own fiction. But I think that would make sense writing wise, because they're going to be going after Walt. But if Gus takes him and can kidnap him, puts him far away, now these twins have nowhere to go. Right? Or they're going to have to track him all the way over there, but that's going to be really hard, especially since Gus is very good about keeping his legs shut. So I think writing wise, that might be very smart to kind of.
Did you just say he's very good about keeping his legs shut?
His lids shut.
Oh, okay.
I mean, he's probably very good about keeping his legs shut too. Just like you should
like
be.
a chicken thing.
You know, if you want to like this episode, definitely leave a no.
Okay, weird transition there.
Okay.
So, do you think Walt's going to take $3 million for 3 months? He said no, right?
Mm-hmm.
He said no, I'm good, and Gus immediately was like, "All right, have a good day," and left.
Yeah, that was very ominous. And I would want to go back and look to see if there's also the blinds on him. I think you said there were with the prison. That might be foreshadowing for Walt being imprisoned in Gus's cage. So there could be some, like triple entendre right there. But I think the main thing is Walt mentioned his family. Now, this kind of plays at odds with my theory here. Because Gus might hear, oh, his family. This is like where I need to attack. So I think there's a lot of potential things there. But I think Gus, I don't think he's so much trying to get Walt to be a partner here. I think he's just trying to get Walt out of the picture. Because Walt is a liability. And I think the $3 million, I don't think Walt's going to accept it. But I think he's going to be forced to accept it. Not that he's going to get money out of it.
Oh, I see. Okay. That'll be interesting.
Mm-hmm. I've been throwing so many lofty predictions out there. And in the end, it's going to be a plane crashing into another plane in the sky and a teddy bear falling along with 2 bodies.
It's a good chance.
Yep. I mean, when in doubt, that should always be your answer because...
It's a classic trope.
All right, before we end this episode, is there anything else you could think of, Meader?
No, I mean, you could touch on Hank being like literally touching the answer to his entire job and not being able to see it.
Mm-hmm. That's true. Because
being told to his face.
I mean, that's the best bluff you could ever do, though. Like, oh, what's this thing? Oh, it's $500,000. Oh, no way. Ha ha ha. Just move on from there.
Yeah.
But yeah, that also goes in with the theme of vision. He can't see what's obvious right in front of him.
Yeah.
I think probably the difference between Hank and Walt is Walt is blinded by pride. Hank is blinded by... Holy shit, my phone's going. Hank is blinded by... What would it be? Arrogance, maybe? It's not really arrogance. It's non-assumption.
Yeah.
He can see the pieces, but he doesn't realize they're there.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like when you look at like a Where's Waldo sort of thing, right? Like you can see everything there. Technically, there is Waldo in your vision, but you have to be looking for Waldo to see Waldo. And right now, he's not looking for Waldo. He knows there's a Waldo out there, but he's seeing this painting right here. It's like, oh, there's not a Waldo in here. I got to go to the next room or the next painting or whatever.
Yeah.
This is the best metaphor I've ever come up
great.
with.
I love it.
Yeah. Yeah. And, love is one thing, but liking is another. So, hey, go here and ding, ding, ding. Wait, what was that? Was that a bell? Oh, geez. You're ringing the bell already? It's the notification bell.
Oh.
Also, what?
Whoa.
Can you like something like twice? Can you? No, you can't. Can you dislike something twice? No, you can't. So just like it once, and that'll be good for me. Also, comment. Say, hey guys. That's it. All you need to do. It's really simple.
That's really simple.
Very simple. And what did I say? Subscribe. Because the YouTube algorithm is something that we talk about for some apparent reason. I mean, it dictates our lives. I mean, what is an algorithm but the thing that is us? I mean, that's really Like, people think YouTube's building this whole corporate entity or something like that that's gonna, destroy humanity. No, they're not building that. They're building a mirror. And we're just not happy with what we see.
Wow. That's as poignant as your Waldo analogy.
So, this was an episode of a show called Breaking Bad. You guys have a great day. Peace out. And remember to be great people. Peace.